Jordan Henderson Liverpool contract worry shows time is right to reassess Damien Comolli era. Damien Comolli spent a year and a half at Anfield and left under a cloud. However, he was the man responsible for bringing Jordan Henderson to Liverpool. The day I got sacked they told me I had made a big mistake on Jordan and he was a waste of money, Damien Comolli said back in 2016. This was 4 years on from his departure as director of football at Liverpool, with owners Fenway Sports Group seeing the deal to bring a then 20-year-old Jordan Henderson in from Sunderland for a fee of around £20 million as the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of Comolli's job with the Reds. Henderson endured a difficult start at Liverpool and then boss Brendan Rodgers had been willing to let the midfielder depart for Fulham. A little over 12 months after he signed. Thankfully, in typical Henderson fashion, he rejected the move, determined to prove his worth and make his Liverpool career a success. A decade on from joining and only Jamie Carragher, Steven Gerrard and Sami Hyypiä have played more Premier League games than Henderson's 290. H is one of only 9 players to have made it to 10 seasons with the club in the Premier League era. To make it to the Premier League and stay there is one thing, to have such longevity with a club of Liverpool's stature is something rarely achieved. Henderson's future is now under scrutiny, with reports suggesting that the 31-year-old who has lifted the Champions League and the first English title for Liverpool in 30 years. Is at loggerheads with the club over what happens when his deal expires in 2 years' time. By then, Henderson will be 33, and there is an apparent reluctance on FSG's part to spend big wages on aging members of the squad. With Henderson likely to be engaged on reduced terms. That has piqued the interest of the likes of Paris Saint-Germain, on a spending spree this summer. Who would happily pay what is necessary to secure his services, just as they did with his former Liverpool teammate Gini Wijnaldum. His impact at Liverpool has been colossal and he has established himself through his leadership and success on the field as a club legend. Such an accolade is not handed out easily at Anfield. He went from being seen as a transfer dud to being one of the most important and influential players of the modern Liverpool era. For a signing that ultimately cost Comolli, in his own words, his job it seems looking back to have been a myopic decision. This isn't to wax lyrical about Comolli. After all, he is the man responsible for the £35 million signing of Andy Carroll. One of the Premier League's most expensive dud deals, as well as bringing in the likes of Donny Stuart Downing, Charlie Adam and Sebastian Coates, none of whom achieved what had been hoped for. But he was also the man who brought in arguably the most watchable player in the Premier League in the past 10 years, Luis Suarez. Bringing players into the Premier League who had thrived in the Dutch Eredivisie had not always been a path that had been paved with gold. Middlesbrough paid around £17 million for Afonso Alves from Heerenveen in 2008 on a 4-year deal after he had plundered 35 goals in 38 games for the Dutch side. He lasted a season on Teesside and failed to rediscover that kind of form, getting moved on to Qatari football the following year.